Okay, today we're doing a deep dive into something really practical for anyone learning English. How do you actually practice effectively, make it sound natural, all from inside your own home? We've looked at some sources that promise a way past that sort of textbook awkwardness,
Yeah.
getting you sounding authentic in just everyday situations.
Exactly. And that's really the mission here for you, the listener. This deep dive is all about pulling out those easy, super useful sentences and little conversation frameworks, things that basically turn your home environment into, well, your best classroom. We want to show you how to use those daily routines, even the boring ones, to build fluency. The idea is to bypass the need for formal lessons, maybe, and really focus on achieving what we call automaticity.
Automaticity.
Right.
Speaking without thinking, without translating first in your head.
That's it. No delay.
Okay, let's unpack this. So if automaticity is the goal, we probably need to start at maybe the toughest part of the day, the morning routine. I mean, that's when you're rushed, maybe stressed, definitely sleepy sometimes. And for beginners, or even advanced folks who are just, short on time, these short, immediate sentences, they're crucial, right? They're the first things you need to say.
Absolutely. They have to be quick.
Yeah, and the sources we looked at, they highlight these really punchy, real-world phrases, like the moment you actually become conscious, you might practice saying, time to get up. Or if you're really fighting it, something like, I'm still sleepy.
We've all been there.
Totally. Or the essential, let's make some coffee. And, oh, this one's universal. Where's my phone? Happens every day.
Almost guaranteed.
And when it captures that panic, I'm running late. So real.
It is. And what's really interesting about those phrases, it's not just the words, it's the structure. They're short, yes, but they force you into basic English rhythm. Things like vowel reduction. That's what makes spoken English sound fast and natural, not like you're reading.
Vowel reduction. Like how?
Well, take, I'm still sleepy. You stress still, right? I'm still sleepy. But often just becomes a quick mum sound. I'm still sleepy. That tiny bit of pronunciation practice, even if you're just muttering it to yourself while, I don't know, making the bed, it trains your mouth and your brain. It builds that muscle memory for speed and sound.
Okay, I see. It's just the sound pattern you're practicing. And I guess if you live with someone, this is your first shot at actually interacting. The sources had a pretty good example of that sort of bleary-eyed morning chat.
Yeah, exactly. A really simple exchange, but it shows that immediate back and forth. A might say, good morning, did you sleep well? B replies, yeah, but I woke up too early.
Story of my life.
Then A, coffee first, and B...
Definitely. See, it's fast, like conversational tennis, you said.
Right. It's not complex grammar, not at all. But it needs that quick volley. If you can handle that, even when you're half awake, you're setting yourself up for the rest of the day's practice. The fluency gain is in that speed.
I like that. Focus on the speed and structure, not just vocabulary lists. Okay, so we've got the morning chaos covered with short, sharp stuff. But what about later? When you're actually awake and moving around the house, the complexity has to shift a bit, right? You need more than just time to get up.
It does shift, and the sources make a really crucial distinction here. Once you're past that initial rush, the focus moves to linking English with physical actions, things like cleaning, cooking, even just relaxing. This is where you consciously start thinking in English, basically by narrating your life as it happens.
Running commentary.
Kind of, yeah. If you're narrating your actions, you're forcing yourself to connect a physical act, doing the dishes, say with the English phrase for it, in real time. That's way more powerful than just memorizing to do the dishes from a list.
So you're actively labeling your world as you move through it.
Precisely. And the practice sentences provided are great for this. They cover functional things like, I need to do the dishes, or maybe, let's open the windows. Planning comes in. I'll clean the living room later. And the age-old question, what should we eat for dinner? And then when you finally get a break, acknowledging it, I'm watching my favorite show.
Okay, but I can imagine some intermediate listeners thinking, I know I need to do the dishes. Why practice that? Is it just repetition? Or there's something deeper going on?
Good question. And that brings us to rhythm and tone. This is probably the most overlooked part of sounding natural, these simple sentences. They're critical because they force you to practice the correct stress, the right inflection, the music of English.
The music, okay.
Think about that example dialogue the sources gave for setting the table. It's super simple.
Right.
A says, can you help me set the table? B, sure, where are the plates? A, in the cupboard, thanks. B, no problem.
Okay, standard stuff.
But listen to the sound. When B asks, sure, where are the plates? That emphasis, that little rise in tone on plates, clearly signals, I'm asking about this specific object's location. If they messed it up and said, sure, where are the plates? It just sounds weird, almost demanding.
Huh. I never thought about it quite like that.
Exactly. Getting that stress right, the melody, that's what makes you sound natural. Much more than just perfect grammar. So practicing these simple sentences lets you drill the sound without getting bogged down in complex sentence structures.
All right. This is where it starts to get really interesting for me. Because we're moving past just talking to yourself or simple exchanges and into conversations that involve other people. Real interactions. Yeah. Things that need planning or negotiating, or maybe the trickiest part, making polite requests. This feels like where the rubber meets the road, linguistically speaking, where fluency gets tested with social stuff mixed in.
You're absolutely right. It's a significant step up. And the sources offer some great phrases for navigating exactly these kinds of daily social moments. You've got planning phrases like, what are your plans for today? Or decision-making, often giving a choice. I'll cook tonight. Do you want pasta or curry?
The eternal dinner dilemma.
Indeed. Then there's that crucial test of tone. The polite request. Can you lower the volume, please? Very useful. Or suggesting shared time. Let's watch a movie together. And of course, the necessary household chore reminder, which needs careful handling. Don't forget to take out the trash.
Yeah. Delivering that one wrong can cause problems.
It really can. And this is a huge leap because you're shifting from just describing something like, this is the table, to managing a relationship. Could you please help me with the table? It often involves using modal verbs, could, would, can, and other softening language to keep things polite.
Oh, man, I wish I'd learned that softening language earlier. Instead of asking politely, sometimes I just blurt out, we need to do the dishes NW.
Yeah.
The reaction, not great.
Huh. Well, that perfectly shows the difference between being grammatically correct and being communicatively fluent, right? The sources really emphasize starting with a gentle check-in, sort of managing the social contract before you make your request. There's that sample dialogue about laundry.
Right, the laundry request.
Yes. Notice how it starts soft, opens the door first. A asks, are you busy right now?
Just checking availability.
Yep.
Smart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then B replies, a little, what's up? Which invites the actual request. A then says, I just wanted to ask if you could help me with laundry.
I just wanted to ask if you could. That feels very gentle.
It is. It's a masterclass in polite phrasing. It signals respect for the other person's time and gives them an easy out if they need it. B then says, sure, give me 5 minutes. Okay, see? Conversations like that help you refine not just the words, but the natural flow, the give and take, and crucially, that polite tone you need for requests. You learn how to structure the ask itself to sound cooperative, respectful. That's real conversational skill.
Okay, but what about the listener who's maybe thinking, that's great, but I live alone? If these interactions are so key, how do they practice that politeness, that back and forth, if it's just them and, I don't know, their cat?
That's a really common situation, and yeah, the sources tackle it directly. If you live alone, you can definitely still practice effectively. The method is actually quite simple but powerful. It's narrating your actions out loud in English.
Like we talked about with chores.
Yes, but maybe even more consistently. This isn't just about speaking, it's about actively training your brain to think in English first. See, the hurdle for many learners is that internal translation loop. You have an idea in your native language, you translate it, then you speak English. It's slow. By narrating out loud, I'm making lunch now, as you're actually making lunch, you force yourself to bypass the translation. You go straight from the action or thought to the English phrase.
So you take your internal monologue and just say it aloud.
Basically, yes. Make it external, make it explicit. You're thinking things anyway. So you look outside. It's really sunny today, maybe add. Maybe I should water the plants while cleaning up. Okay, I'm cleaning the kitchen now, maybe. Need to put these plates away. Or getting ready for the evening. Right, I'm getting ready for bed, perhaps. Need to set my alarm.
And the main benefit, as you were saying, is hitting that automaticity goal. Talking to yourself like this, it's like constant practice for your brain to just formulate the thoughts directly in English. It feels like that would be the fastest way to get that spontaneous speech everyone wants. You're conditioning yourself to skip the middleman, your native language.
That's exactly it. So when we wrap all this up, what does it really mean? Well, this deep dive pretty much confirms that your own home, it's probably the best, most immediate, most accessible classroom you have for practicing English naturally every single day. The real fluency boost doesn't come from, memorizing huge lists of advanced vocabulary. It comes from consistent daily practice of these simple, real-world phrases and structures, the stuff you actually use.
So the advice is, focus on that daily consistency. Don't be afraid to talk to yourself or try these phrases out loud. And remember, every time you nail the rhythm or the tone in something simple like, I'm running late, you're genuinely getting closer to sounding natural.
Precisely. And building on that idea of tone in daily practice, here's something to maybe mull over. We talked about how tone helps with politeness, with asking questions. But think about emotions. What specific feeling could you consciously try to inject into your practice tomorrow morning? Maybe it's over-the-top excitement when you say, let's make coffee. Or maybe it's really capturing the exhaustion in the rhythm of, I'm still sleepy. Focusing on putting the feeling behind even simple words, that's the next level. That's what gives your English personality and makes you truly engaging to listen to.